The year was 1939, a year that would mark the beginning of one of the darkest periods in human history. The world watched in horror as Europe descended into chaos. The streets that were once bustling with life now echoed with the sounds of sirens and explosions. Germany, under Adolf Hitler's iron fist, invaded Poland. This bold and ruthless move was a clear signal of the storm that was to come. This act of aggression triggered a chain reaction. Nations around the world began to mobilize their forces, preparing for the inevitable conflict. Great Britain and France declared war on Germany. The world was now on the brink of a full-scale war. World War II had begun. The conflict that would reshape the world was now underway. The conflict quickly spread across the globe. No corner of the world was left untouched by the devastation. It engulfed nations from Europe to Asia, Africa, and the Pacific. The scale of the war was unprecedented. This was a truly global war. Battles raged on multiple continents, involving millions of people. Millions of soldiers and civilians were caught in the crossfire. The human cost was staggering. For 6 long years, the world witnessed unimaginable brutality. The horrors of war were felt in every corner of the globe. Cities were reduced to rubble. Once vibrant communities were turned into ghost towns. Innocent lives were lost on an unprecedented scale. The toll on human life was beyond comprehension. The very fabric of society was torn apart. Families were displaced, and entire communities were uprooted. Yet amidst the devastation, stories of courage and resilience emerged. People found strength in the darkest of times. Ordinary men and women rose to the challenge, displaying extraordinary bravery and determination. Their efforts were a beacon of hope. They fought not just for their countries, but for the very principles of freedom and democracy. Their sacrifices laid the foundation for a better world. The early years of the war were marked by a series of stunning German victories, which left the world in shock and awe. Hitler's armies, employing the innovative blitzkrieg tactic, swept across Europe with unprecedented speed and efficiency. This lightning war strategy combined rapid armored advances with overwhelming air power, creating chaos and confusion among the enemy ranks. The Battle of France in 1940 showcased the devastating effectiveness of blitzkrieg. As German forces quickly overran French defenses, German forces outmaneuvered the Allied defenses, capturing Paris and forcing France's surrender in a matter of weeks. The fall of France sent shockwaves through the Allied nations, shaking their confidence and altering their strategic calculations. Great Britain, now standing alone against the Nazi war machine, braced for a German invasion, fortifying its defenses and rallying its people. The Battle of Britain, fought primarily in the skies above southern England, became a pivotal moment in the war, testing the resolve and resilience of the British people. The Royal Air Force, though outnumbered, fought valiantly against the Luftwaffe, Germany's air force, demonstrating remarkable courage and skill. The Battle of Britain was a turning point, as the RAF's determined defence thwarted Hitler's plans for an invasion. Germany's failure to achieve air superiority over Britain prevented a cross-channel invasion, marking the first major defeat for the Nazis. It also bought precious time for the Allies to regroup and prepare for the long struggle ahead, laying the groundwork for future victories. The year 1941 brought America into the conflict. The world was already engulfed in the flames of World War II, and the United States had been watching from the sidelines, maintaining a stance of neutrality. However, this was all about to change dramatically. The surprise attack on Pearl Harbor by Japan on December 7, 1941, galvanized the American people. The devastating assault on the naval base in Hawaii resulted in significant loss of life and damage to the Pacific Fleet, igniting a fierce resolve within the American populace. In response, the United States declared war on Japan, marking its official entry into World War II. Just days later, Germany, allied with Japan, declared war on the United States, further expanding the conflict. The nation was now fully committed to a global war effort. The war had now expanded to encompass both the Atlantic and Pacific theaters. American forces found themselves fighting on multiple fronts, from the vast expanses of the Pacific Ocean to the battlefields of Europe and North Africa. The tide began to turn in 1942 and 1943. Key battles and strategic victories started to shift the momentum in favor of the Allies, who were now coordinating their efforts more effectively. The Battle of Midway, a decisive naval battle in the Pacific, marked a turning point against Japan. This victory crippled the Japanese fleet and gave the United States a strategic advantage in the Pacific theater. Meanwhile, the Allied victory at El Alamein in North Africa halted the German advance in that theater. This crucial win prevented the Axis powers from gaining control of the Suez Canal and the oil-rich Middle East. On June 6, 1944, known as D-Day, Allied forces launched a massive amphibious assault on the beaches of Normandy, France. This operation, meticulously planned and executed, was one of the largest military invasions in history. This daring operation, involving troops from the United States, Britain, Canada, and other Allied nations, marked the beginning of the liberation of Western Europe from Nazi control. The success of D-Day paved the way for the eventual defeat of Nazi Germany and the restoration of peace in Europe. While the battles raged in Western Europe and the Pacific, the Eastern Front witnessed some of the war's most brutal fighting. The Battle of Stalingrad, fought between August 1942 and February 1943, was a pivotal battle. German forces, aiming to capture the strategically important city of Stalingrad, faced fierce resistance from the Soviet Red Army. The battle devolved into a brutal house-to-house struggle, with heavy casualties on both sides. The Soviet victory at Stalingrad marked a turning point in the war's Eastern Front. It shattered the myth of German invincibility and put Germany on the defensive. The battle also highlighted the resilience and determination of the Soviet people. Section 5. Strategies of War Innovation and Adaptation on a Global Scale. World War II was a conflict of unprecedented scale and complexity. It witnessed significant advancements in military technology and strategy. The development of radar, jet aircraft, and the atomic bomb forever changed the face of warfare. Germany's Blitzkrieg, with its emphasis on speed and surprise, initially caught the Allies off guard. However, the Allies adapted, developing new tactics and technologies to counter the German threat. The Allied strategic bombing campaign, targeting German industrial centers and infrastructure, played a crucial role in weakening the German war machine. The use of submarines in the Atlantic also had a significant impact, disrupting Allied supply lines. Section 6. The Home Front, Societal Shifts and the Rise of New Powers. While battles raged on distant fronts, the war had a profound impact on the home front. Governments mobilized their economies for war production. Women entered the workforce in unprecedented numbers, filling the roles left vacant by men fighting overseas. The war also led to significant social changes. The horrors of the Holocaust, the systematic genocide of Jews and other minority groups by Nazi Germany, shocked the world. It forced a reckoning with the depths of human cruelty and the urgent need to protect human rights. Section 7. The Ruins of War, Economic Devastation and Political Realignment. By 1945, World War II had left much of Europe and Asia in ruins. Cities lay in rubble, millions were dead. The economies of both victors and vanquished were shattered. The war reshaped the global political order. The United States and the Soviet Union emerged as the world's two superpowers, replacing the old European powers. This shift in power paved the way for the Cold War, a period of geopolitical tension between the two superpowers. The use of atomic bombs by the United States against Japan in August 1945 ushered in the atomic age. The horrific destructive power of these weapons cast a long shadow over the post-war world, raising profound questions about the future of humanity. Section 8. A New World Order, the Legacy of World War II. The end of World War II marked the beginning of a new era. The war had a profound and lasting impact on the world, shaping the political, economic, and social landscape for decades to come. The formation of the United Nations in 1945 represented a collective effort to prevent future conflicts. The Marshall Plan, a US-led initiative to rebuild war-torn Europe, laid the foundation for decades of economic growth and prosperity. The war also accelerated the process of decolonization as former colonial powers, weakened by the conflict, faced growing demands for independence from their colonies. The decades following World War II witnessed the birth of numerous newly independent nations in Asia, Africa, and the Middle East. Section 9: Echoes of the Past. Remembering the conflict, shaping the future. World War II serves as a stark reminder of the devastating consequences of unchecked aggression and intolerance. The lessons learned from this conflict continue to resonate today. The stories of those who lived through the war, both on the battlefields and the home front, remind us of the human cost of conflict. It is our duty to remember their sacrifices and strive to build a more peaceful and just world. As we move further away from the events of World War II, it becomes increasingly important to preserve the memory of this conflict and learn from its mistakes. By studying the past, we can gain a deeper understanding of the present and work towards a brighter future.